Pre-warning now, this video I'm going to talk about shit, literal shit. You don't want to hear about that because it's disgusting and not something most people talk about on YouTube, but I'm going to anyway. Then click off this, I don't mind, it's a weird subject. Here we go, talk about shit. Why am I doing this on my channel? So I've been wanting to make this video for quite a while, but I've never known how to go about it and how to explain stuff to you until I saw a video that Hannah Witten had done about the same thing, which I'm going to talk about, which is something that I have called ulcerative colitis. Now I'm just going to practically talk about what it is, what my kind of experiences with it, and etc. Because I've googled and YouTubed about this condition, and yes, there are videos and stuff about it, but there's always need to be more, and they say it affects about 1 in every 100 people, kind of. So obviously the more information and the more kind of experience that people share, probably the better. So this is my experience with it and just some information about it, because why not? So if you don't know what ulcerative colitis is, it falls under the category of inflammatory bowel disease, which is similar but different to irritable bowel syndrome. Irritable bowel syndrome is where certain foods will irritate your bowels and will upset your stomach, and then you obviously have to run off and go to the toilet and everything like that. Whereas an inflammatory bowel disease is a lifelong condition, which obviously you are stuck with. Your colon and your bowels are inflamed and constantly irritated and bleeding. There are two types of IBD. There is Crohn's disease, which affects anywhere from your mouth down all through your system to your backside, and then there is ulcerative colitis. It just affects the left side of your colon, and that is the one that I have. They suspected it was Crohn's disease at first. I had to go and have a endoscopy and a colonoscopy, and then finally I was told it was ulcerative colitis, not Crohn's disease. So the symptoms that I had that I noticed around 2 years ago at Christmas was abdominal pain, I was vomiting, and when I was going to the toilet there was blood. Now obviously most people jump to thinking, oh my god, it's something like cancer, but I was like, oh, maybe it's just, I don't know, like you can get tears in the skin, it might be something like that. So I left it for a little while and just waited for it to calm down, but then the abdominal pain got worse, and then I started vomiting one night from the pain, and I went up to urgent care at a hospital, and they kind of like prodded my stomach and said, oh, it might just be like indigestion or something like this, or you should probably go to a doctor's appointment and see about it. So I eventually told my parents. We were arranged to go to the doctors, and when I told the doctor what it was, she was like, yeah, it's probably like Crohn's disease or something like this, so we'll send off some blood tests and we'll have to get a sample from you so we can test if whatever's high in it or whatever, and then they can see what it is. And then they said you're gonna have to go for a colonoscopy to obviously have a camera up there so they can see what's going on, and eventually I did. We went and I had an endoscopy, which was just a very small portion of it, and they were like, yep, it's ulcerative colitis. They took some biopsies and everything like that, and then they put me on some medication, some tablets, which I'm on now, 3 tablets in the morning forever, that's it now. And I was also put on some lovely enemas. If you don't know what enemas are, they are a liquid medicine that you have to up. Yep, and it sorted it out, it did calm it down, and I was like, okay, that's fine, because with ulcerative colitis, once the symptoms are controlled and you are on medication, you can go about your daily life while just taking the tablets. It's pretty much fine, and it goes into something called remission, so it is still there, but it's just not active, and then obviously everything's fine, no bleeding, no pain, no nothing. Was put on these enemas. I was on them for about a month, went off the enemas, and straight away started flaring up again. The bleeding started, the pain started. Went back to the doctors and they said, oh, you only had an endoscopy, you need a colonoscopy, which is the whole of my colon. And oh, colonoscopies are the worst. Now, when you have a colonoscopy, you have to clear out your bowels completely, and you do this by 1, not eating from about 6 o'clock the night before the procedure, and then the night before as well, and the morning of it, they give you a little sachet of this liquid that you have to drink, which washes out your entire system. So you literally, for the like 24 hours in like that gap of when you're gonna have the procedure done, and obviously before and all that, you can't leave like your room or anything. You need to make sure you're comfortable in your house or wherever you are, because it washes your system out, so obviously it's all going to come out. You need to be by a toilet, and The sachet is absolutely vile. I remember being given this box saying this is what you've got to do. It's orange flavoured, it shouldn't be too bad. I was like, oh yeah, it's orange flavoured, it's going to be nice. It's far from it. I remember the second lot of it I had in the morning, I remember drinking it out of a jug, and then as it went down I gagged it back up and some of it just came straight back out. It is vile. Apparently there is another brand called like Pickleaxe or something, I can't remember, which is blackcurrant flavoured, which is apparently a little bit nicer, so next time I have a colonoscopy I'm going to ask for that. When I went for my colonoscopy, I remember I was sedated for it, so I was still awake, but I was a bit like woozy because the endoscopy was so kind of uncomfortable for me and everything like that. I just didn't want to be able to feel anything, but I remember being able to see the screen and see all the bleeding and everything like that, but they told me the case that I have is only a mild case of it, because I'm not losing weight at the minute because of it. I'm not going to the toilet as much as I should be if it was severe. I'm not vomiting anymore. That's at least good. A lot of people I know who I've looked at and like watched and everything have been to the hospital several times. They've been put on drips and everything. Bearing in mind I've obviously only been diagnosed with it for about a year now, or just under a year maybe, and we don't know what set it off. People say it could be stress. My family thinks it might be from when I had my back surgery, something might have triggered it. I don't know. That was kind of the main bit of it when I was first diagnosed and everything. Put on the enemas, everything was fine. Had my colonoscopy when it flared up again, and then was put back on the enemas for another month, and they doubled up my tablets, so I was on 6 tablets a day, and then obviously went under control again. Now that was September maybe last year, and I think I finished the medication maybe October, start of October, and then since around maybe November, end of October kind of time, flared up again, and I'm still currently waiting to go back up to the hospital and see what's going on. So my symptoms at the minute are the abdominal pain, not so much, not vomiting, but I am bleeding a lot when I go to the toilet and everything, and when I do go to the toilet, that's when the pain really starts, and I'll sit there and I'll have tears in my eyes because I'll be scrunched up in so much pain, and I'm just kind of waiting to get back to the hospital and everything. I have had a blood test and everything. I'm just praying I don't have to have another colonoscopy, because with ulcerative colitis, obviously there are certain ways of controlling it. Like I said, there are enemas that can control it. If that doesn't work, I will get put on some steroids, which I'm really not looking forward to, because when I've looked up what happens when you get put on steroids, you can get like severe acne on your like forehead and your face and everything. It will make you have a huge appetite. That's what the one thing I've seen is, it will make you so hungry all the time. And I'm trying to eat healthy, so if I get put on steroids and then my appetite goes up and it's worse than it already is, I'm gonna put a bit of weight on. But I'd rather be healthy with a bit of weight put on rather than be in the situation I am in right now. If none of the medication works at all for you, you kind of resort to the worst thing, which I'm hoping will never be kind of an option for me. They can remove part of your colon or your whole colon or something, and will put in a little hole in your stomach where your intestines will join up, and then you get fitted with a little bag, and it's called a stoma, but it means you don't have a colon anymore, you don't use your backside for anything anymore, you poo in a bag. If that ever has to happen to me, then I'm gonna obviously have to embrace it and get on with it and everything, but I'm praying I don't have to. I'm praying that it'll get put into remission and everything like that. But yeah, that's kind of the worst case scenario that can happen with ulcerative colitis. Who knows, some people I know have been in remission for like 10 years or more. Yeah, like I said, obviously I'm currently waiting to get back to the hospital and everything. It'll sort itself out. What it'll be will be. It's obviously a lifelong condition, which I am obviously embracing and dealing with. And yeah, I think really I can't really think of any more information on it other than kind of my experiences of it. If you are interested in anything about the disease and stuff like that, and you want to know about it, let me know and I can tell you as much as I know. That's pretty much all I've got to say about that, and just a bit more of an insight into it and a bit more of an insight into me. So I do hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next week. Bye.